can shut them and just sweat if you need.
So it should be all good.
Good.
Just let that sort out whatever the lag stuff is. Put these stupid things on. That's a recording. It does. I think we're live, mate.
Sweet.
Happy days. How was your run?
You know what? It was actually quite nice. I ran to my home, to my parents' home, and then of course you've got to come back, which I hadn't really thought through.
I do that quite regularly. Like,
it's so annoying because
I'll get it in my head that I'll go for a run somewhere, and then I'm like, oh, I've got to get home yet.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I mean, I strongly contemplated getting a train, but I haven't done it yet I haven't been on a train since March. So I thought today wasn't the day. So I jogged
not
back.
yet. Not yet, mate.
No. You don't want to have too much fun too soon, you see.
Yeah, exactly. Don't want to push it out. We're only just getting the masks in tomorrow, aren't we? So.
Oh Jesus, have you got a mask?
Somewhere. I haven't worn one all lockdown. So, well, that is a lie. I wore one last week when I went to did the food shopping with the kids.
Have you got like a proper fabric one, or are you using?
Yeah, a horrible fabric-y thing.
Yeah.
But
I got several actually. I've got one. I think it's there. Right, so this is how useful mine are. I can only ever find them when I really don't need them. This is one of my favourites.
Look at that. All out, mate.
I feel like I'm about to rob something when I'm wearing that. And
you can't rob something with Namaste written on it.
Yeah, I can. I can be totally bougie.
That's like.
I see your point.
That's against the code, whatever the code may be.
Take it
you do a bit of yoga then, do you?
No, I don't. Not at all.
No.
Actually, I'm awful at yoga. I've tried. I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience for anything I'm not good at, for a start, and I'm not good at it. And then it's too slow. I guess it's been drilled into me. You know.
Totally agree with you there, dude.
Huh?
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I tried it once because I'm the least flexible person in the world, I think.
Yeah.
Like touching my toes.
I would take you on that. I am.
Touching my toes is not good. Well, bearing in mind, both my daughters do ballet and the eldest does gymnastics, and they're all bendy and, well, they're complete opposite to me because they've both got long legs and are very slight, where I'm built like a wardrobe.
Yeah, but give them time, mate.
Give them time.
They haven't experienced lockdown belly. They have not been adults in a pandemic. This is a totally different kettle of fish.
I've got all kinds of lockdown belly.
It's not been kind. Some people keep preaching at me that they're coming out of this in the best shape of their lives. And they can just do one, because what the hell were they doing during lockdown? How were they not eating ice cream and drinking wine every day?
Obviously not living their best life, clearly.
Well, exactly. Obviously doing too much yoga.
Too much yoga, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
Too much. Yeah, it's serious though. I did try it once in the living room, and my eldest daughter came. She could have only been about 6, maybe. So it would have been about 3 or 4 years ago now. But yeah, I was there with me trying to do these poses in the living room. She came downstairs and was like, "Daddy, what on earth are you doing?"
She's like, "Daddy's hurt."
Yeah, making full grown man noises. Just. Ugh!
Yeah, I mean, that's not sexy. That's probably quite terrifying for a young.
Daddy's stuck.
I was doing a radio show a couple of years ago, and we went to visit. I think it was Brentford Football Club. It was a football club somewhere in this kind of area, and we walked in expecting all the boys to be doing something really warry and cool, and they were all sat around doing a yoga session.
Yeah, well, from what I've read. Apart from banging his sister-in-law, Ryan Giggs used to do yoga.
Did he?
Which helped prolong his career till he was like, I don't know, 50.
Did he really bang his sister-in-law?
Come on, you know he banged his sister-in-law.
No, I did not. I'm younger than you, I think.
Not much.
That's my excuse.
You're 88.
I don't know about football is a bit foreign to me. I'm good at rugby, which is really lucky because my new housemate, who's out, is she works for Premiership Rugby, so we can kind of chat about that.
Oh, nice.
Know what I'm talking about. But football, Cannot
Yeah.
hold my own.
Yeah, it's old news, but spoiler alert for everybody who doesn't know, Ryan Giggs smashed his sister-in-law. She was on Big Brother or I'm a Celeb or something like that. Something
Hang
crap.
on, didn't he do the nanny? Or was that someone else?
Probably someone else.
Probably
Footballers, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, fair one.
Wayne Rooney literally shagged a nanny, as in like an old lady.
Oh.
Well,
like
this is taking a turn.
I need to go and brush up on my football. I was actually watching a press conference today with a footballer, and he was going on about the benefits of eating pistachios. So obviously our two knowledges of football related gossip are very, very different. But yes, pistachios are really good for you.
I do like a pistachio.
I love a good pistachio. I also really like calling it pistachio and watching people like as their toes curl up.
You're one of those ones that my brother probably wouldn't like. Talking wise, like I take it. Do you say is it Chipotle or Chipotle or whatever it is?
I haven't got a bloody clue. I've never been. I think it's Chipotle, but I do know that there's a bit of a thing around.
My brother works in a restaurant, and there's people that order the sauce, the Chipotle sauce or whatever, and he gets really wound up if they say it wrong. But he's got one of those.
Does he say
bizarre
nachos
brains.
or nachos? That's always a really fun one to watch people get really upset.
Yeah, but you've got the accent for it. I'm just got.
I know, I sound like a wanker, don't I?
Yeah, didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'll try and tone it down. It will get better as we go through.
It's fine because you're probably thinking, "Who's this farmer that I'm talking to?" But it's all.
Well,
good.
I did notice. I think. Are you in a shed?
I am. I'm in my shedio. This is my
shedio. That was it. I love that.
It's my shed studio.
I enjoy that. Is it ridden with spiders? That's such a girl question. Can I take that back? Can I ask something more intelligent? Talk to me about your shedio. No.
Yes, it has quite. I do share it with some creepy crawlies. To be fair, I've got my old #1 jacket hanging up, and I've been moving stuff about in here to make it look. Well, every time I do an episode, there's something different. Like I've got my new.
Yeah, I do like
backdrop. But and I pulled my #1 jacket off the wall. It used to be where the flag is, and it just had. I'm guessing where they lay their eggs on the back of it, and I was like, oh no.
No, that's that's absolutely deeply horrifying.
Yeah.
What did you do with it? Did you give it to the cleaners? Did
I
you
just
throw it away?
moved it over there, out of my way. I'm not going to wear it again.
I actually can't cope with that. One of my neighbours, we've got, you're going to take the piss on this, we've got a garage downstairs. Well, we've all got garages, whatever you call them, sheds. We've all got sheds. And mine, thus far, unless I think I'm probably just turning a blind eye, but I don't think I've got any creepy crawlies, anything. I had one squirrel that came in and ate a load of my protein bars. So I learned the hard way, don't leave food in the shed. But opposite me, the girl who has the shed thing opposite me found a dead mouse in hers.
Nice.
And all the clothes have been eaten through. And then the other girl who went in found a massive spider. So at the moment, I'm staying out of my shed.
Yeah,
but
don't blame you. I'm not the biggest fan of creepy crawlies. Not the biggest fan. Yeah. If anything, I'm a bit of a pussy. But yeah, so I in our old house we had a very small. It was tiny compared to this shed. This shed's quite big for a shed. And when we were moving house, I had to go in there and get all the kids' bikes and like their old jumperoo and fucking shit like that. The size on the fucking spiders in there.
Really? No.
Yeah.
So you basically, what you did was you loved them so much that you brought them with you.
Yeah, I just thought, fuck it. But I've got my very own Raff Reg gunner that's keeping stag in here. So.
Oh, look at him! He's cool. How long's he been around, and has he got any creepy crawlies? And does he occasionally move on his own?
He's only just come back. I don't even know where he was. I think he was in one of the girls' toy boxes.
Oh, an action man.
He genuinely is. That is generally because they brought out the HM Forces action figures.
Did they? I have not seen them.
Yeah, this was ages. This is when I was still serving back in.
Hang on, do they have girl ones as well, or is it really deeply sexist? And
it's so sexist, mate.
Yeah, fine.
They might have changed. I don't know. It is 2020.
To be fair, they've probably now got like a super PC one that's even more irritating. But
yeah, probably like in a rainbow or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I just thought it used to be hilarious because there was like certain army ones that they were. I think it was a paratrooper. I think,
Oh
obviously,
God.
a marine, and then the mighty Raf
Oh,
Reg.
green, even worse.
Yeah, the mighty Raf Reg figure. And I thought, well, I'm definitely buying one. So,
And Three State, does he have a name?
No, he's just a crow, isn't he? So
Your
he's just...
presentation does lead me to believe that he does not. Everything in my world has a name. It's very sad. My plant, which you can't see, I'm not turning this around because it's very messy. I've chosen literally that one spot of the flat that isn't an absolute shit fit. Over there is Timothy, the house plant, who thus far is alive, but I'm really not sure because he's quite high up and I do forget to water him.
Timothy.
But I had two. Yeah, I had two.
You're going to tell me there's something. There's going to be an Oscar there somewhere.
Oscar was my old cat. Good knowledge. I say old cat. He died, but he lived to 17. He did well.
That's
but
old
Jeremy
for a cat, isn't it?
and
17.
The other two house cats did. They didn't fare so well. They died. I think I overwatered them. I think apparently there's a real sweet spot with plants. Maybe it's the same.
Did you talk to your plants? Did you go, oh, Timothy?
No, but can you imagine how creepy that would be for my housemate if she just heard me singing?
Just you walking up. Timothy, you're supposed to talk to your plants, and yeah, it's good for them.
You'd be like, oh dear God, what's going on? No, but my mum swears by feeding them old tea, so maybe I need to start doing that. Don't know.
I've never heard of that, but
No.
Parents know everything, so.
Well, you've got kids, yeah, exactly. So you must know this shit.
I don't know that shit.
I think ice cream and tequila.
I do have random dad knowledge every now and then, like the odd gem pops up, but.
You sure it's a gem though, or is it just a dad joke?
Usually dad jokes, but
yeah. They are good.
They're the best.
Every time I come down, well, not anymore because I don't live with them, but when I used to live with my parents, whenever I came downstairs in like something cool, like ripped jeans or like that paint splattered jeans, Dad would be there right away. Olivia, did you pay for those added extra rips? And you're like, we're off. But I love it. I love it really.
Cheers, Pop. Cheers for your bants.
Yeah. Yes. Come on, Dad. Bye now.
Yeah, when I used to work for my dad.
Did you? That's great.
Yeah, tell me about it. So before I joined up, my dad he's a former serviceman as well. He was a PTI for 22 years.
Oh my God, that's a terrifying human to grow up with.
Yeah, I know.
He used to make you walk around the house. Were you allowed to?
Yeah, he little things he would make us do. But he was a PJI by trade, jump instructor. That's what he specialised as. So he used to get us jumping off the sofas and doing correct landings and stuff like that. But yeah, yeah, and then when you land, you throw your legs over. I don't know. Why would you jump out of a perfectly serviceable aeroplane?
Right, that is exactly. You just stole that line from me. Why would you? It just beggars belief.
I don't know.
Quite frankly.
But yeah, when he left, he always wanted to own a gym, and he had one in the pipeline. Something went wrong. We never got it until about 2006, 7, around that sort of time, and he managed to get his gym. Myself being a qualified PT instructor back then, not at the minute. I'm a bit of a chunky motherfucker, but whatever.
I don't think that ever runs out. I think you are still a PT.
We'll go with that. We'll go bro science. Yeah. So me and my brother are both qualified instructors. So we worked for him for a bit, and my brother's a lot more laid back than me. So he sort of just rolled with the shit my dad would do. He was just like, yeah, all right, crack on. Me though, I'm basically my dad. I'm literally morphing into him. Like I joined the Air Force just like he did, and then when I left, my voice has got deeper. I'm grumpy. I moan.
I think that's a man thing.
Just a man thing, but yeah, I sound exactly like him. My manners, anyway. But yeah, I remember one day he was asking me to paint the banister or some shit like that, and I was like, nah. He was like, you bloody are, boy. No, I'm not. He went. Then it was like, I can't wait for you to join the Air Force. I went, good, because I'm fucking going. See you later.
There you go, good negative psychology.
Yeah, well, it worked. It worked. But yeah. So what's been going on in the life of Olivia, old Coxie, during this lockdown period?
Oh God! You know what? Lockdown has been the weirdest thing because it all started and all the emails I was getting, because all the emails, they're always a standard format. It's like, hi, lovely, hope you're well, blah, 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 blah. Then in lockdown, it started being like, hi, darling, I really hope you're taking care of yourself in these unprecedented times. And you're like, yeah, I am. I'm fine. I'm great. I'm cool. Then, just as you get the hang of that, it started being, hi babe, I hope you're well in these transitioning times. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, can we just all be well? Like, it's just a very odd situation, and it's kind of even weirder putting a name to it. But I think my lockdown has been okay. I like to think I've kept busy. I haven't kept as busy as I thought, because when we went into lockdown, I was like, right, I'm going to have achieved. I wanted to be able to do a free handstand and hold it for 10 seconds. Can I fuck? I wanted to, I can basically do it on the wall.
Yeah.
For like 2 seconds, but that doesn't really count. I wanted to put all my shelves up, which has happened purely because Dad came round last week.
Super Dad.
Oh God, dads are amazing. How do you guys know how to do stuff? Like, how do you know what drill bit you need?
Right. I'm not gonna lie on the podcast. I will be that dad that when the girls say, Dad, can you come over and put the shelves up? I'm gonna say, here's your granddad's number. If you want things broken, if you want me to break stuff, break a wall or something, I'm your man. I'm a destroyer.
I need to be honest. My dad, I just don't know how he does it. I mean, so he works in film. He's an editor and director by trade. So he's not at all someone who works with his hands. He's never done like manual work. But somehow
it must be an age thing, though. To be fair, because
I
painted my I've got no patience at all.
Me neither.
Zero.
No.
But during, I think it was last year, Christmas last year, it was, Sean, can you paint the living room?
Oh wow, that's a big ask.
Can I what? Can you paint it? Yeah, you're gonna do it with me. Oh yeah. Supervisor was the missus. Supervisor. So I was there doing my hardest to cut in, make it. To be fair, I'm bigging up myself here. It's fucking shit hot in there. I did a brilliant job.
I mean, but it does beg the question: why are you in the shed?
Yeah, I should have the house to record in.
Right.
Now this is my sanctuary. This is where I go for some quiet.
Man shed.
But yeah, I managed to paint all that up, and it looked really good. But there was times where I'm pretty sure I kicked all 3 women in my house and the cat out. I was like, you need to get out before I throw this paint at you.
The thing is, I think DIY, this is my excuse, it's a very personal thing. Everyone has their own way. My way is, it's done, outside, out mine, fine, that'll do. Yeah. So I tried that over lockdown. I had my grandfather, before he died.
Cool name for a grandfather.
Right? I think it's because I've got a twin, and apparently we couldn't pronounce grandpa. So we used to go pa, and then like it became papa. And yeah, so he was quite into like woodwork and stuff, and he made us this a toy box, which obviously I don't have anymore, and a bookshelf. Nice. So I've got a bookshelf. You know what? Okay, it is a lie. It's still in my parents' house, but I love it. So I've got the bookshelf, and I was like, I want to paint it because I bought this flat, and it's going to look really cool, like it will contrast with the walls. So I went outside. Dad made me sand it, which I thought was completely unnecessary. Then he made me go out and buy salt soap, something.
Go with that.
Yellow. Did all that. Then I like painted it, and he came out, and he was literally inspecting it, and he went around, and he's like, what happened there? And I'm like, I don't know, like paint fatigue, like I just sort of dripped. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna have to do that again. So I left, and a couple of weeks later I mentioned it to Mum, and I was like, has Dad done my bookshelf yet? And she said, no, he's gonna wait for you. Anyway, I waited about a month, and it was done. So that is my tactic. Do it badly once.
Now that's the thing with daughters, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'll end up doing it.
Exactly, because it will bother. It bothers my dad.
Yes, it bothers me, right? As a dad, right. those of my listeners know me quite well by now, I like to think. And they know I've got no patience, and they know that I've told these stories loads of times about Lego, that I can't build Lego because I don't have patience. For example, my brother...
You don't read instructions.
That correct.
Correct,
right?
Lego is simple.
It probably is.
Oh.
But it's not. My brother would literally just use his imagination and build these fucking cities of Lego, which I'll destroy because I'm a destroyer.
Oh, you're that brother.
Yes, I'm that brother. I'm the younger brother, so I'll do it, and I'll go, what? However, my eldest is obsessed. Her obsession is now moved. It was Harry Potter, everything Harry Potter, everything. Like even now she's still obsessed. Like her top shelf of her bookshelf is full of the Lego that I built because she couldn't do it. So we've got half. Yeah, no, I did build this, but I had to kick everyone out, and they're not allowed to play with it. So she's got half of Hogwarts because we
what Lego.
Out of Lego, yeah. So we've got half of the Hogwarts castle. We got the night bus, the Quidditch pitch.
What? I had girl Lego. I had like a horse stable.
Oh yeah, the times have changed, mate. You get old now.
I want Hogwarts stuff. Has she sorted herself? Does she know what house
yes.
She's in?
She's the same as me because I'm a nerd as well.
Without being Gryffindor, I'm going to punch you.
No. We're Ravenclaws in this household.
Are you? Okay, well, that's the second best. I was Hufflepuff.
Yeah, shit in it.
My
youngest is a Hufflepuff.
Okay, fine, I'm with her.
I was like, Sophia, do you want to be a Hufflepuff? She was like, not really. I went,
no, I don't either. And I tried again.
Sucks
I
to be
even
you.
tried to complete the test. And, nope. I'm a double Hufflepuff.
See, I wind the eldest up because she's like, why do you always like the bad guys? I went, because they're actually the coolest. They always lose, but their bad guys are always the coolest. And she's like,
they are,
you want to be a Slytherin? Yes.
Well.
I want to be a Slytherin.
No, you want to be Draco.
No, I don't like him. Voldemort's cool.
No, terrifying.
This is taking a tangent. This podcast today, talking Harry Potter. But yeah, she's now moved on from. She's now all about Jurassic Park. All about it. Yeah.
That is interestingly, I did not see that coming.
No, not many people do. But when she likes something,
she goes big.
She goes big. So me being me, I was like, ooh. Star Wars.
Just see how far you can push.
And she went, nah. I was like,
I'm completely with her on that. Star Wars is a complete. You know what? I took forever to even get into Harry Potter. It was my sister who liked it first, and obviously I followed everything she did because I'm an asshole. But she loved it, and I was like, no, I only like real stuff. I can't be dealing with fantasy. No, this is rubbish.
I'm very similar there, dude, because. I don't know where you stand with this, but I had on the last guest, Lee, he wasn't happy with me about this. I haven't seen Game of Thrones because
me neither.
Yes.
The exact reason, it's not real.
And I was like, my brother is the same. He's like, why haven't you watched Game of Thrones? I went, because one, fuck dragons.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Exactly.
Hold the door. Couldn't give a fuck, mate.
I was the same with Pirates of the Caribbean. Eventually I watched it, but it took me years of being like, ooh no.
I do like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Actually, to be fair, I only like the first one. That's a bit weird.
I'd probably say I probably just like the first one, really.
Yeah.
But it's more about the character of Jack Sparrow that I liked more than the film, I think.
Love it. And you know what? Apparently, Johnny Depp, he wasn't really supposed to play it like that.
Pardon?
And I read something and it said, because you know how he portrays Jack Sparrow as quite camp and like.
Yeah.
Apparently, the director was really, really, really against that, and he was basically like, "Well, this is how I'm doing it."
Yeah. It worked. It was brilliant.
It worked so well. Like I think he nailed that. It's so good.
Nailed it.
Although I cannot see him as attractive, whereas a lot of people really fancy Johnny Depp, and I'm like, all I'm thinking about is
He's
a pirate.
he's one of those rogue guys, though, isn't he? Where it's like, oh, he does a bit of drugs and plays the guitar well.
He's the guy that what is it? It's like guy with a man bun is the guy who's going to steal your girlfriend.
He could try, but he's got a man bun, so it's not going to happen.
That's like a true man. Well done.
Short back and sides.
No, that's unfair. What are you drinking? Are you drinking water?
Damn my fuck. Whiskey.
Oh. Are you?
Yes.
So I'm drinking this. So basically today, a PR thing arrived, and I'll see if I can kind of show you it. I am wearing shorts, don't worry.
I should fucking hope so.
No, I just
it's not that kind of show.
Imagine like that. Did you see that MP who stood up and he'd forgotten he was on a Zoom call?
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So this is what arrived, obviously Patron, with all the condiments. So I've got a big ass bucket of everything to go in it. So when I arrived home from my run and was greeted by this, I was like, priorities. I was like, okay, I need to look okay-ish. So I honestly, I swear I was gonna have a shower. But then I was like, you can't smell me on a podcast.
Don't worry about it.
So I was like, I'll leave the cap on, I'll put some makeup on, and I'll prioritize that extra bit of time because obviously
look at that.
To make a drink.
Fantastic.
Right.
So what did you go with? What's the drink?
Well, I would like to say it's a margarita, but it's not because I was lazy. So it's basically tequila and lemonade, which is kind of a margarita.
Could be. I can't drink tequila.
Interesting. A lot of people can't because they
tequila does not like me in the slightest.
Aha. What are you like on tequila?
Well, last time I drank tequila was the day before my mum's wedding. So last year my mum got married again for the third time. Congratulations, mum, by the way.
Third time's charm.
Yeah, hopefully. To be fair, she was married to my dad for 36 years, so hopefully that. Anyway, but yeah, we decided to do like an impromptu sort of stag do for Mike, my mum's husband. So we went out in Hereford, and I met because I arrived. My brother lives in Hereford, so I had to drive from Kent to Hereford. So we met up. I hadn't eaten, which didn't help. And Darren sent me a message. He was like, Sean, get to the Golden Fleece, which is the worst pub in Hereford, I would say.
Weird names.
The Golden Fleece. It's horrible. It's full of creatures. But anyway, so I turned up and he was like, Tommo, what are you drinking? I was like, I'll have a lager, usually like standard, innit? He was like, no, we're on the whiskey. I went, already? Fuck. I was like, all right, I'll just have a Jack and Coke then. He was like, cool. Next thing I know, he's lined up like 4 or 5 triple Jack and Cokes. So he smashed all them, standard. Then we took Mike out. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, fast forward. I'm pretty wrecked anyway. Big Berth, who works with my brother in the restaurant, decides to get the shots out, which is fine. I don't mind shots as long as they're like Sambuca or something.
I cannot do a shot. But
then he was like, oh, you go. So I necked it and I was like, oh, that's tequila, innit? And he was like, yeah. So apparently I was ill. I don't remember anything after that point. Somehow I got home.
When you say ill, you mean
sick? I was ill a lot, like sick everywhere. I was violent, nasty to everyone. Like, apparently I tried to rip the toilet seat off at my mum's house.
That's fun.
And then I passed out on the sofa with a bucket, and I don't remember a thing. This is what people have told me. So this could all be lies, but I don't remember.
It's probably not, though, is it?
So no, it's probably 100% true. Last time I remember sort of doing tequila was those, Desperados.
Yes.
Yeah.
with the lime.
Because I'm part chimp, I didn't know that had tequila in it.
Did
So
you not?
I was on my close protection course, and this was the after do piss up, necking them back. Thought I was fine. I got on the wrong train home, and ended up I don't even know where. Father-in-law and the missus had to pick me up. They couldn't find me when they got there. Yeah, they started phoning me. They only found me because they saw my phone was glowing. I was in a bush. Yeah. So,
which is basically the punchline to any good alcohol story ever.
Yeah, I am. My brother did used to nickname me Frank the Tank when I went out from old school.
Frank the Tank.
Yeah.
But you're only Frank the Tank if you can continue like Frank. Although, to be fair, if you go streaking in the quad or whatever, then
yeah,
I mean, you basically did that.
It's mainly from the first proper scene with Frank the Tank where he's like, "Oh, are you going to have a hit on this drink?" He's like, No. I've got a quiet Saturday with the missus. I'm going to Home Depot.
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah, Bed Bath and Beyond. Who knows if we might not have enough time. But that's basically me when I used to go out with the lads. It was like, no, I can't. I've got stuff to do. And it's like, nah, Tommo, come and hit it. And then I'd hit it, and then
so
I'm
what
going
you're trying to say to me is that you have the willpower of like a wet fart.
Pretty much, mate.
Okay, fine. That works for me. I mean,
it is what it is.
I mean, I was not drinking tonight, and then I arrived home to that. Oh God, Nick dropped it. And I was like, well, fucking rude not to.
You got to.
Well, you know.
Well, cheers to that.
And cheers. With my disposable cup. At least I can't pronounce.
So,
yes,
we've gone on some tangents, but I love that. I've had a few people say that I need to like name the segment Tommo's Tangents instead. But yeah. So you're a twin, aren't you? I had a stalk for your profile.
Did you?
Yeah.
Fine.
I was like, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess like.
And well, you have to, don't you? And then I was like, what else can I do? She's got her own website. We'll do that as well. I must have been like an absolute Uber stalker like that. What's going on? Nah, but in seriousness, the reason why I was searching so much, I was trying to find out what regiment you served in.
4th Artillery.
Well, there we go. I should have just asked you, but I didn't want to be rude.
But then that wouldn't be stalking, and that's not as fun.
Exactly.
So I was with 4th Artillery. I commissioned in 2006, and I went out to Germany. Well, I went to Larkhill. You do a YO's Young Officers course, and got sent out to Germany to Osnabrück, which apparently I pronounce horribly, but there you go.
You're not German, are you? So.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was really fun. So when I got there, we were on AS90s, but because we got warned off to Afghan, and obviously it was completely different out there, and you didn't have those sorts of vehicles, so we got put onto 115mm light guns, which was good and bad. I mean, it was cool, and it was epic having them kind of at your disposal, nipping around the training area. But it also meant that you couldn't be in the belly of what people think. No, like when you think of like a tank, which is what we call them guns, but it is basically a tank. You can go in the belly, and you're warm and like it's chilled.
Yeah, when we were in Iraq, we were in bulldogs.
Yeah. So very toasty warm.
Yeah. So in fact, we almost died in a bulldog. There's me laughing about it. Well, funny thing is, right, I used to laugh these things off. And when I, obviously what Granite Zero is about my mental health issues. But when I first went to therapy, I would laugh at certain things. And she was like, why are you laughing at that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's my mechanism.
The only way that you can,
I was like, it's my mechanism because it was ridiculous. Well, basically, we were in the bulldog, and it stalled going up a hill. And as it was coming down the hill, it was heading towards the reservoir. But the back door wouldn't open. So we couldn't get out. The commander shouted, "Every man for himself!" and jumped out of the fucking route, out of the hatch. Luckily for us, we were all in the back, not knowing what the fuck was going on. We was like, what? Luckily, the driver managed to get it started just before it landed in the reservoir.
Every man for himself. Is that legitimately a tactic?
He's watching far too many movies, is what he was doing. But this
Also,
is the same. This is the same. He was a sergeant, I believe, and he was the same sergeant that invited countless village elders in Afghan into our fob for basically a chit chat. It's like, no.
Well, I mean, the whole hearts and minds thing was really big. Like when we went on exercise in Canada on the prairie, which was awful. It's so cold, and the sandstorms.
Awesome.
Well, sandstorms where you went were worse. But yeah. But yeah, we had all these. Often it'd be the Gurkhas that would come and play enemy, or I think there was quite a few actors actually, and they'd come and they'd play out scenarios like someone's died and you have to go and not infiltrate a funeral, but deal with the way that they mourn. And you need to know that there's cultural variations. They'll be very, very vocal. They want to touch things. The ceremony will be very different. And a huge part of it was learning how to deal with elders, and especially as a girl, because the cultural barrier means that they can't be in rooms with girls and
didn't want to talk to you, mate.
So yeah, there was a lot of elder chat, but I mean, I never went to Afghan, so I never experienced what it's like.
There, that was a bit of that itself. Inviting him into our fob was a no-no, because obviously we had.
I'm surprised he wouldn't go to them.
Yeah, that was what we were saying. We were going, Sarge, you can't bring him in.
Yeah.
Like even us as like just troopers, we were like, you can't bring him in, because
like, are you sure?
Because we had like the private contractors that had the big fucking balloon up that literally could see the whole AO. We had one of those up. That's all top secret stuff. We had all our ECM stuff, our medicals, our radios, everything. It was like,
even when you strip it back to something as fucking basic as like a TAM or a warning order, like that's the kind of shit that you can't.
Exactly.
You can't just have someone like rumbling into your area and be like,
long story short, he was sent home.
What was he discharged or just
just basically just sent home with a bit of a slap on the wrist. He was doing a lot of silly things like when we were driving around, obviously we would drive at night every now and then. You have to have your lights on at that time because of obviously the IED threat. He thought it'd be a good idea to tell all the drivers to turn their lights off and drive with their NVAs. It's like, no.
What, like just using night vision?
Yeah, just using night vision. Moron. He's a sergeant, by the way.
Did you guys have heat? Like, can you see people? I never really use night vision.
Not on the night vision goggles. On the vehicle that was called the Panther. It's basically it's an Italian vehicle. On the this is me pulling out all these fucking acronyms, and people are going to be like, "What?" On the CWS. I don't even know what that stands for.
Weapon.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, that's got thermal imaging. SUSAT. Yeah. We don't use them anymore. Shows how old we are now. Yeah. They got ACOG.
When we had CSAT, that was like exciting because you didn't have to.
Best. I remember learning that in your marksmanship principles and your.
It was heavier than an iron stuff, and that sucked.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Anyway.
So on the CWS that had thermal imaging. It wasn't brilliant, but.
So could you pick up IED threats on that? Presumably not, but you could pick up people.
You could see certain heat spots you'd be able to see, but basically, like the wing commander and that would be saying, "Don't once it's night, just don't bother, just harbour up and stay put until the morning, because in the morning we can send people out and look."
But weren't often the Taliban, wasn't it like kind of universally thought that they didn't really operate at... Oh no, they did operate at night because
they would go out at night to dig it in. But luckily we would get heads up on that from like the balloon in our fob. They would say, right, we've got people doing this. Or when
did you rely quite heavily on the ANA?
Yes. When we were in Kandahar, we worked side by side with the ANA and the Afghani police. I keep hitting my head on my mic. I keep forgetting it's there. I've only recently got it.
What was that like? Was it quite? Did you trust them, or was there always a feeling that
it was one of those where you wanted to trust them, but in the back of your mind, you were like, you were like, we're here for a reason, and we know that they get infiltrated all the time. And,
yeah, exactly. Because if they would, if
and I'm sure when we were out there, that was the point where a load of army I can't remember what regiment it was. They were teaching the A&A, and they turned on them and shot a few of them. I'm sure that happened.
I mean, yeah, there were a few stories, and it was because they tell you about all the blue on blue, and obviously that's an accident. Yeah. But when it's not an accident, that's when it becomes really stressful. And obviously,
it was one of those. You'd go into their compound and you wanted to relax and like take your helmets off and have a drink of water or whatever, but you're like just on edge, and it's one of those experiences where you're on edge a lot. But yeah,
I mean, I imagine that the whole 6 months you're on edge a reasonably large amount. Just going to turn a light on because I'm just aware that...
I was just about to say you're getting a bit dark, dude.
Yeah, well, you never know. It might be nice. Is that better? Yeah.
Happy days.
I haven't really figured out the light situation in this flat yet. So that's a horrendous light. Yay! How beautiful. Well, we'll just roll with that.
Oh, no.
Fine. You run out? Oh, mate. You've had a shocker.
I've got a bit left. It's all good.
Right.
I just won't drink that as fast. It's when I start talking too much.
Huh?
When I get on a roll, I start drinking more. I had Trevor Colt on a few weeks back, and I literally went through like half a bottle of whiskey. And
you just drink it neat though, or have you
I'm drinking it neat. Yeah, no mixes for me. Hardcore.
How can you do that? That's such a man thing as well.
So manly. That's why my chest is so hairy. So, what made you join the army? Out of curiosity.
I'm just going to sound so shit. So basically, school I went to, in a nutshell, a third of it burnt down. So we were doing all our lessons were out on the playing fields in like porta cabins. It was fucking freezing. It was like November. We had a careers evening. It was quite a posh school. Not expensive.
No shit.
I did not go to private school. No, my sister went to private school and I went to grammar school, which is a state fund school. Just saying. And basically I decided that all I wanted out of life, I thought I was just an asshole. I was like, all I want to do is earn money, don't give a shit how I do it. I know I'll be a lawyer. That'll earn me loads of money. So I was queuing up to listen to the whoever's dad who was a lawyer speak, and he was running late, obviously. Standard. So yeah, I was like, oh mum, it's really cold. Let's just go in here, like just warm up. And it was a colonel giving a speech, and he was like, right at the end of the speech, he's like, listen, if you join us, you get paid to go skiing. And I'm like, ooh, hi. So then I investigated
join the army, travel the world.
Yeah. See the world. Fuck that shit. So I sort of applied-ish, got a letter from, and at the bottom it was signed General Sir Richard Dannett, and it said to report to your local careers office. So I put on my best pink tweed Hugo Boss awful jacket thing, marched into this careers office with mum. All these squaddies looked up, they're like, what? And I went, oh, I'm here to see Sir Richard Dannett. And they went, no, fucking not. And pretty much marched me out and were like, off you go see Colonel Peacock. He deals with people like you, because he was the officer recruiter. So I went to see him. And essentially all the way along, everyone told me I couldn't do it. I was too small, too blonde, too into girl. Like I did ballet. But I'm really competitive, I think, because I'm a twin. And so I was like, well, fuck it. If you say I can't, then I will. And so I sort of ended up at Sandhurst.
I like that attitude.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm very similar.
It gets you into a bit of trouble.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's fun. So yeah, that's been like, you know what, I need to come up with a better story. Like, why did you join the army? Serve my country, to do my bit, and go skiing.
And go skiing.
And
did you get to go skiing?
I did, but not as much as I would have liked to justify all the green crap, all the press ups. being basically
I like how you call it the green crap. That's brilliant.
Green crap. You know what? It was the big standout moment. There were two. One of the first days, because on my course at Sandhurst, just about everyone was from public schools and they'd done CCF or cadets or whatever. So they all knew what the army was. I rocked up to Sandhurst strongly believing it was an attendance course that I just had to get through and it'd be totally fine. And I was screamed at. Everywhere I went, screamed at. And I just remember my colour sergeant Jordan, lovely human, please don't hurt me if you know where I live, but terrifying human being. And he was very upset that I didn't understand the difference between a staff sergeant and a colour sergeant. Of course, a colour sergeant being infantry, staff sergeant being any other regiment in the army, because the infantry used to carry their colours, i.e. their flags, colours, into battle. So he made my entire platoon do press-ups until I could recite the difference between a colour sergeant and a staff sergeant. And that took
a while.
10 minutes? Yeah, a good while. A long time while they go press-up position, up, down, up. And everyone's like looking at you like, fucking Cox, just get a grip, get on with it. So that was bad moment number one. Bad moment number two was, for love nor money, I could not get my mess tins clean after using fucking Hexie. And I know that you're supposed to scrub them on the grass and make them all clean and sparkly, but I'm just not that kind of a human. Like, I'm not good at cleaning. And so I'd be like, it's fine. And then the next day they'd be inspecting your weapons and bits of rifles would be going flying and you had to crawl in your belt buckle to the nearest tree to say sorry or whatever. And I had my mess tins thrown so far that I couldn't find them. And I spent probably about an hour on my belt buckle on the training area, apologising to the grass, because, you know, you have to do that shit. And yeah, so I learned everything the hard way.
That's the best way to learn it. I was quite similar when I joined up. Like, there's a good number of the lads that I was with.
Yeah.
They did like air cadets or army cadets and things like that. I literally joined up because my dad served.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's a reasonable reason.
And I was like, getting shouted at, and I was like, well, I'm sort of used to being shouted at, but I'm also used to answering back. So that
won't serve you well.
Like, there was one bit where it was, I remember on basics, we'd just finished doing a swim circuit or something like that. So we just been in the showers, getting dressed, and it's like, you lot need to be outside in 30 seconds or you're fucking in the shit or whatever. And I was like, and I was literally doing my boots up, and I was like, I'd like to see you get fucking dressed in 30 seconds.
And he was
like,
didn't.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
No.
Most people think things. I say it because there's zero filter.
Think then speak, yeah?
Yeah. No, I just did fucking diarrhea of the mouth. Yeah, that was fun. But I was sort of known as more of a field soldier. Say, this is like, loads of people are going to listen to this and be like, you weren't a soldier. You were in the RAF Reg. Hey, we were.
I joined good skin. You're more of a soldier than I ever was.
But yeah, so I was better in the field than I was in the block. Like, ironing and polishing my boots and shit like that. Terrible. Did
you guys have to bull your boots?
Yeah.
I have never, to this day, understood what the fuck that is or how anybody achieves it.
However, we would make sure they were pretty shiny, not bulled completely, because we were told if they were bulled as in you were going on parade with them, the enemy would see that. Shut up. No, they wouldn't. Fucking idiots. But yeah. I remember once I had my boots.
We never pulled our boots in the field.
I had my boots thrown at me on a block inspection because I polished them. That was fun.
Oh,
yeah. The words were, Tommo. I was like, yes, Corporal. These boots are polished. I didn't know what to say, so I just went,
yeah.
Thank you, Corporal. Hey, threw the fucking boots at me. He was like, oh, brilliant.
I was so shit at inspections, and it used to really panic me. And after like a couple of weeks of like 2 hours sleep and fearing everyone and every breath I took, I'd had enough. I was ready to walk out. And one of the boys who'd been to public boarding school, whatever, who was really good at hospital corners, because that's what I could not nail, because
the corners of the bed.
I'd always had a duvet, so I was just like, "What the fuck is this?" Anyway, and apparently this is really deeply bad.
What sort of peasant doesn't have a duvet?
well, quite. And,
are you one of those chicks that has like a million pillows on your bed as well?
No, but I will send you a picture of my housemate Alice's bed, because she has a very small room, and her bed she brought her bed, takes up the entire room, and she has like 7 blankets in like different pretty positions. It's glorious. But anyway, so I got one of the boys to they volunteered, I didn't make them, to do my hospital corners, and then I got my sleeping bag out and I slept on my floor, so that all I had to do in the morning was get up and roll it away, and it was fucking clean. I know, I passed, flying colours.
Well, fair play. We had a couple of recruits that would do that.
Yeah.
But they got found out for being dickheads. Not saying that you're a dickhead, saying they were dickheads. But we also had fucking 2 blokes that were so OCD, it was unreal. Like, I'd be trying to get some kip on, because like I knew I'd fail the inspection anyway, so it's like nothing new. I'd do my best. But these guys would be up until like 3 a.m. Bearing in mind we're getting up in like 2 hours after that to go for breakfast and that. They were there ironing their kit still. When they would wake up, they would iron their bed sheets. It's like, come on, guys, it's not that bad.
I mean, that's a bit extreme, but at least, I mean, you guys had to be in a block, I guess. We all very lucky had our own rooms.
We didn't have our own rooms until
bad, because you're completely independent. Like, it's completely your own fault if you fuck up your inspection.
We had our own rooms going, like would have been when we did Dig X, when we had to live in the trench, but just before then when we moved in to our own rooms.
One of the biggest mistakes I made was we were going out on parade, and obviously you're told you have to go through the cookhouse, and literally as you're getting the food, you're eating it off the tray, because you're like, you've got to get to your room and change like 7 times and be on inspection in like -3 minutes, and you're like, fuck. And I was running out the door, attaching, because you always had to have your name badge on your left here. And I'd forgotten that, so I'd run back in, and then as I was running out, I was like, I'll just check, because you have to have your shoulder sleevey thing turn up, roll up. Had to be 4 fingers above
when you rolled your sleeves up,
your folds. And I, to be fair, had never used an iron in my life before I got to Sandhurst, and I thought, well, there's enough. I hadn't done it properly, and I was like, there's no time, I'm just gonna fiddle it, pull it down, and it'll be fine. And then I was like, oh no, that crease is not okay. So I was like, I know, there's enough folds of fabric that I can iron that on my flesh and it won't go through. So I did, and it went through. And for ages, I don't have it anymore, but I had this perfect white line where your folds should be. Just serve as a reminder.
At least you knew where it was.
I mean, not that anyone who watches this will need to know, but kids, do not iron on your skin.
Don't iron your skin, ever.
From me.
That comes from Coxie. She knows.
Learn the hard way.
So, I take it your sister never wanted to be in green.
No. My sister, well, Laura is a long old story, but yeah, so my sister, she isn't very well. She has been in and out of rehab, and she's an alcoholic. Okay. I say, sipping my tequila. But she just was never, not that I was particularly regimented and disciplined, but I think I've always been the slightly more tomboy, slightly more ambitious. I've always been quite adventurous, and I think as twins, we both sort of found our own role. Yeah, like, we always had our own sport. So, like, with Dad, I played, I'm going to sound like a wanker again. I played tennis with Dad. Laura played squash with Dad.
Of
You
course you
wouldn't play
played.
tennis. Oh, of course I played tennis. Yeah.
Of course
Well,
you did. Why
I
wouldn't
love
you play
tennis.
tennis? Did you
Well,
did you play
exactly.
did you play croquet as well? Or?
I'm shit hot at croquet. I watched an American show the other day, and they were playing croquet like. I know. I'm not helping myself here. Like to the side and like whacking it like a polo stick. Oh god, yeah, I'm not helping myself.
And then you went, oh, where's their fucking horse? If they're going to take a shot like that.
I mean, croquet. Everybody knows that the mallet goes between your legs. It really does. Which sounds rude.
Who doesn't like a mallet between their legs?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, so yes, I can't remember.
Yes.
My
Anyway,
point.
sister decided to play squash.
The sister played squash and then did not join the army, and then now lives in Wales. So she
God's country.
She's out of the
God's
Welsh
country. Wales.
God's country. I thought God's country was not Yorkshire.
They could say that.
Are you from Wales?
I think the Welsh would disagree. I'm not from Wales. My mum is.
Right. I feel like everyone who's from somewhere somehow claims it's God's own country.
I like that accent. That was good.
Where are you from?
I was going to say I was born and raised. Wasn't born there. I was raised in Hereford. So.
Oh, Pabrat. Of course.
Yeah. So, Dad was posted to Stirling Lines when I was probably it was just after I was born. So, yeah, we were always, my brother and my mum. Well, my mum's from Wales, but they lived.
I mean, Hereford, to be fair, is literally.
Oh yeah,
Wales.
I argue to this day that I'm not Welsh. All my mates go, Tommo, you're Welsh, mate. And I'm like, no, I live 26 miles out of Wales. I'm English.
Yeah, I mean, that's not very far. Considering how many miles you can go into like fucking Brecon and not see another human, that's not very far.
It's not very far. But I always say it to the missus. Well, my missus is from Kent, so Maidstone area. And I'm like, well, you're almost as close to France as I am from.
That's a really good point.
So does that make you French? She's like, shut up. I'm like,
does that shut her up, or does she argue back?
No.
Right.
Doesn't.
Well,
yeah. However, here's a funny story. My brother convinced me for about 5 years, roughly, before I got my first passport, because I used to always be on my dad's passport back in those days.
Yeah.
That I was born in Cardiff, so I was Welsh. I told everyone that I was born in Cardiff and I was Welsh. I was actually ready to go, yeah, I'm Welsh. Start talking like this, but no, I was born in Swindon like he was. Randomly.
I mean, Swindon's kind of not that far from Wales.
It's sort of like mid-England-ish, isn't it?
It's like near Bristol, no? It's definitely West Country.
Yeah, not far. This is the randomest podcast ever. This is literally a chat.
This is literally whatever comes into your head. I convinced all my friends when I was, I think about 8, I got my cat called Oscar, and so I went into school the next day. I mean, this probably says a lot about my mental stability. And I told all my friends I had a brother, and I went along with this, saying, yeah, my brother's called Oscar, he's really beautiful, he's got lots of lovely hair, da-da-da. And I think I kept it up for about a month. I hope it wasn't longer than that.
Well,
and then I was like,
you could say Oscar was your brother. That's fine.
Well, he's definitely like that. But yeah, he was my brother.
I call Blossom my furry daughter.
Is that your cat?
That's my cat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a hairy daughter that's called Blossom.
Well, I just wanted to check.
But I call my dad's got a dog. He's Jerry. His name is, and he's a Springer Collie, and he's my brother. I always say he's gonna be 12, maybe. I think he might be 13 actually.
That's quite old for a dog, no?
Yeah, he's an old boy now, but he's had a haircut recently, and he looks like a puppy again.
Oh, cute! I've got a dog moving in here on Sunday, so my new housemate has a puppy.
Was that your dog that was on your story? Not that I was stalking it.
So I have many dogs on my story because I basically stalk them. If ever there's any kind of like hashtag me too for dogs, I'm fucked.
You're fucked, mate.
Yeah, proper fucked. No, so yesterday on my story, good stalk. I was with my best friend Pandora, whose twin is called Poppy and Pandora, and they're from Hampshire, and we went down there for a barbecue, and one of the other sisters, Candida, India, Poppy, and Pandora.
Jesus Christ.
I know. I know. Honestly, they're adorable people. They're absolutely lovely. But Candida has Winston, who is a Cavapoo. And then we got down there, and the family has Casper, who replaced Bunty and Cameo, who were golden retrievers, who are very difficult because if you say Bunty and Cameo the wrong way round, it's deeply offensive. Think about it. And so whenever I went to say, "Oh, how's Bunty?" and then I'd be, "Oh, how's Cunty?" and you're like, "Oh," like it's horrifying.
I'm so glad that you said it then, because I was like, my dyslexic mind was like, hang on. Hang on.
I'm not going to say it twice because it's really bad. Right. C-U-N-T-Y.
Yeah, I got it.
Right.
I got it now.
I don't know.
It just takes me a bit longer, all right? It's not a disability.
Anyway, those 2 dogs, and then my friends brought
So it's Cunty and Bunty. Is that what you said it was?
No, it was meant... it was meant to be Bunty and Cameo, but if you got, and I'm a bit dyslexic,
got ya.
Bunty
and Bamio.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So, and then
that's better, if anything.
Well, I mean, it's very pleasing to say, but it's a tiny bit offensive when you're talking to someone's parents.
Yeah, it could be.
Anyway, yes, those are my dogs. Also, I'm very aware I'm on 6% battery, and I don't want this to just die, and then I'm like, bye. So just to like pre-warn, I'm on 6% battery.
6%.
And my charger's in the room. 6, not 60.
You know, you can pause it.
What? I'm going to get my charger.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Well, no, I don't need to pause it. I can just go. No.
Yeah, or do that. I'll just sit here and talk about some of the sort of sponsors that I don't have.
Okay, you do that.
You do that. That's a fantastic blue pillow. Only posh people have blue pillows like that. Just saying. Anyway, while Coxie is off grabbing a charger because of admin, quick shout out to Right Flank, obviously, put in the promo code FLANKED15. Check out and go and see their support group as well for those of you that are suffering mentally. Dead Mammoth Coffee, obviously. Put the promo code MIL15. Combat Fuel. Put that in and get some protein and whatnot. Here she is, look. I was literally talking to no one about how good your admin is.
Oh, my admin is squared away, mate.
So squared.
It's so good. My charger was actually underneath me.
Ready and everything. I was just saying how, like, fantastically blue that pillow is.
This one.
That looks like...
It's a bee.
Is that a bee or a moth?
Oh, please. That's definitely a bee. I think. I can't look at it the same way now. I've got
It's
four
one of those...
them.
It's a night butterfly, it looks like.
That's just a posh word for a moth.
Yeah. You would know.
Okay, magic. Hang on.
You would know, Poshy.
There you go.
Posho.
Love that. Right. Okay. Yeah, so when I decorated this place, I kind of did it very haphazard, so with absolutely no plan, because that's how I like to do things. Just, it's more exciting that way.
Just like throw it out there.
Yeah, so a lot of I'm basically like, there you go. So there's a lot of really random stuff, and then the other day I was like, you know what would be really cool? An adult, a drinks trolley. So I've ordered this really cool, like, big blue drinks trolley. I have no room for this thing. And also, I don't really tend to stock alcohol, because if I have alcohol in the flat, I will drink alcohol.
Yeah.
So I do it on a want to drink. So I'll go and buy a bottle of wine. I'm not someone who has like some fancy wine.
I get that. Like, to be fair, it's only because I don't really drink it, but we got quite a bit of gin in the house because the missus.
Oh, I love a good gin.
The missus likes a good gin. I'm not the biggest fan because it gives me an Uber headache, but I'll drink it. I'll drink it if it's there. and I fancy it. Normally, I'm a whiskey drinker. However, if there's whiskey in the house, I'll drink it like quite regularly. Or if there's beers in the house, I'll come home from work and I'll have a beer, and then I crank the
do the
tank.
whole beer thing. I've really tried. When I was little, Mum would. So Dad has a little sort of semi-office thing on the top floor, and she'd send me up with a bottle of beer because he likes out of the bottle. And every time I try and sip it on the way up and just be like, "Come on, like it." Like this was when I was like 8. I'm like, "Be cool, like beer," and I couldn't do it.
Nah.
To this day, I can't.
My old man was a bit like that. So I'd go. He was one of the football managers of a local side, and they had their clubhouse. We'd go there to the pub and that, and Dad would be like, "Do you want a beer, boy?" It's like, boy. Dad, I'm like 7 years old.
Dad,
he's like, "Well, you can have a shandy." So
really?
and I would have a shandy with him, and I'd feel really big. But then I'd be like, "Dad, I don't really like lager. Can I have something else?" And then it would be cider. And then I remember going out. I would have been 15, and I went out with Dad and my brother, I think, on a bit of a pub crawl around Hereford. And I was only 15. And I was drinking cider. Oh my hangover.
Oh, my hangover.
Yeah. My mum was not happy with me.
That's proper dehydrating.
Yeah, I know.
At least with gin or something, you've got a mixer. Like, if you think about tonic water, key is in the name, water.
Cheers for that.
You're welcome. I'm but something like, well, this is why you get such a wine hangover if you ever drink wine, because you're not, well, this is my theory, you're not having that added water with it unless you water down your wine, which who's going to do that?
Who does that?
Nobody. That's your answer.
Cunts do that. Cunty does that. So, from stalking the old Instagram, because it's easy, photos, into your fizz then, here?
I try. To be fair, lockdown has been hard for that. But yeah, no.
Are you more of a gym goer then, or do you?
I am. I for a long time I just did running. So when I left the army,
I saw that you did the marathon. We'll get onto that.
Yeah. So I did the marathon, and that was always my release, and it was my like my happy, not necessarily a happy place, but it was like my safe place. Like
we were almost best friends there until you said running was your happy place.
No, happy is the wrong word.
I cry when someone tells me I gotta go. Like I have to make myself go for a run because my knees are like, Tommo, mate, why are you running?
Yeah, can you not?
Can you not run? Can you just get back on the Thick Boy Bike Club and get on your push bike? Because I'm hurting.
Push bike is still exercise.
Yeah, I tend to ride to work, which helps. But anyway, carry on.
As you were.
As you were, Mum.
You know what? I used to have to say that. I loved that. First day when I woke up in the mess, I was 18, fresh out of Sandhurst, and woke 18 up
and an officer.
Hanging. Yeah, horrifying. Hanging like hell because obviously the whole mess had got me pissed the night before. And walked outside, and I was walking from. We had like this. I don't know what you call it, like extra bit of the mess, which was where all like the subbies were. So it was like the fun house. And to get from there to the proper mess for breakfast, you had to walk past the parade square, and this whole squad. Because I feel like they time it just to fuck with you and see what you're gonna do. And so they're marching past, and one of them goes, "Eyes right," and so obviously they all did that, and I'm like, carry on. Like, I felt like a prick, like, because everyone's always like, they're saluting the rank, not you. And I'm like, I know this. I know they've got no respect for me. That I've made my peace with that. Like, I look like a Barbie doll in combats, but please still salute me and like, don't make me, because technically you're supposed to tell people off if they don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a huge digression. What were we talking about before?
Your fizz. Running. Yeah. We love a tangent.
I don't love running. I really got into it. So I had a really hard time in like 2012-ish, and I remember my parents pulling me to one side and being like, "We think you need to stop running. Like, you're doing this too much. It's not healthy. Like, you're losing too much weight." And I was like, "Listen, do you want me to do drugs, drink alcohol, smoke, or go for a run. And they're like, off you go.
Yeah.
So that was how I dealt with everything. So it's not healthy.
It's one of those struggly things, isn't it? Like, clearly you obviously had some sort of issue, and that was your way of dealing with it, was to go out on your run. But it's one of those, isn't it? Because obviously you've got it set in your head that you want to go out on your run.
Yeah.
But really, you probably could have just done with someone going, fancy coming for a chat.
Yeah, someone being like, you're right. But the trouble is also, you, in the same way that you said that you laugh things off, like, you will laugh stuff off, or you will consistently tell everyone you're absolutely fine.
Yes, that was my problem.
Yeah, and so then people no longer ask, because it's whatever has been the issue that they know about.
I know exactly what you mean there, because when I had my problems and I was really starting to struggle with it, without me really realizing that I had a problem, because I never thought I had a problem, because I was the man of the house. I'm not allowed a problem. I don't have a problem. You have a problem with me having a problem. But it was when I first started opening up and I first started the podcast, I was started to, as I said, open up and say things. And that was strange for me because I was very closed off. But then when I started to get down days, I didn't know how to deal with it. And then it was like, the missus would say, are you all right? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. And then it would be, are you all right though? Yeah, I'm fucking fine.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. But I didn't know how to say, no, I'm not.
But also you go through so much, and especially in the military, so much of it is just pick up and carry on. I remember when we all got warned, I wasn't going to Afghan, I knew that. But when we all got warned off, I remember being in the mess and everyone would be laughing around and be like, yeah, I'm going to put in my fucking will that when I get blown up, I'm going to have a metal leg inserted so that you fuckers have to carry my coffin and it'll all be lopsided. Everyone was like, well, yeah, lad, banter. And it's kind of sick, but it's
that's the way with squaddies deal with it, though. You have to. Yeah. That's where the dark sense of humour sort of comes in.
Normalize it, because otherwise, so when my ex Dave, when he was killed, the boys said that when they were in an O group the next day, they all had nicknames for each other, and they did the O group, and someone said, "Oh, Boise," and someone went, "Oh, what, you mean Deddy?" And it's like, yeah, ha, ha, ha. Like, but actually, everyone's hurting so hard, but you switch it off, and you're like,
when you're out there, you have to sort of switch that sort of stuff off, and
but it goes past a point, and it's like you've been the strong person, and
it's when it suddenly shuts off, and you're no longer that. Like, I think already this year, there's another one gone today as well, I think, from what I read. So that's 43 this year, veterans that have taken their own life and things like that. It's when that stage happens and you don't know what to do with yourself, and you feel, I've got to the point where I felt useless and shit and very down, very depressed. My therapist said I was very much in the mind that I can't have PTSD because I didn't see as much action as what the Army and the Marines did. But when I sat down with my therapist and was talking through certain things, she was like, well, no, you're away from your family for 7 months at a time. You were constantly on like red alert, you might say, things like that. You were in rocket attacks. You had your corporal pull out a wire when you were confirming on an IED. And when I was in the command center, I had to deal with the radio call that one of my close friends lost both his legs, which was one of the worst days of my life. Obviously, it was even worse for him, clearly. But like you just said a second ago, with the dark sense of humor, his sort of charity sort of thing that he has, and his Instagram page and things like that, is all Team Legless or Legless Robbo. Yeah. That's his name, and it's a tricky one. But yeah, like I said,
because it's what you have to do.
Yeah,
and you just get with it.
You I'm spitballing here. This is the first time we ever spoke, but you've probably got in your mindset as a former member of the British Army, this is how I'm going to deal with it. I'm going for a run. Shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Instead of, Liv, do you fancy going for a glass of wine and a chat?
The thing I found hardest, I think, is because I've always known that when I drink, I get emotional, and so when shit
Don't we all?
Yeah, so when shit did go down, I remember even at the repatriation, at the funeral, when we went to the pub afterwards, I drank Diet Coke because I was like, nope, not having a G&T, like absolutely fucking not, because
G&T.
I felt that I didn't deserve to
Officers
have a drink. Like, yeah, no, sorry,
right.
I didn't deserve to. Like because like you, I didn't think there was a problem. I only got diagnosed with PTSD very recently, and I was completely hell bent. I was like, don't be fucking ridiculous. Like, I didn't even go to Afghan. How the fuck can I have PTSD? Because I associated that basically.
Very similar.
Yeah, with the whole like shell shock thing. Like, of course, the boys come back, they're fucked. I don't have PTSD. All I did was have to watch someone not come home. But what I've learned is that anyone can have PTSD.
Yeah, and I struggled with it as well, because I was like, and what hit me the most was, I've said it before on here, and I'm going to keep repeating it because these guys, in my eyes, are cunts. Pardon my French to a lady. I had members that I served with on my squadron would call me out when I started the podcast to say that I was lying and a Walter Mitty, and that I don't have the PTSD, I don't have the depression, I don't have any of it, that I'm lying and I'm playing on other people's pain. They were people that I called friends at the time. They're obviously not. But it's only just really recently that I've sort of realized that everybody's different. Everybody's mental health is different. I've had blokes on here, Trevor Colt, Military Cross. I've had him on the show. He's had a brilliant conversation with. I had Rob Vickers, former Marine, absolute gym savage. You look at him and you're like, you are just a specimen. But yeah, he's another guy that's got mental health issues, and they've all said to me that those sort of people that have clearly seen more than I have, but they're like, no, Tommo, everybody's different. They don't know what I had growing up, and things like that. And it's like, everybody's different.
Anyone who's going to sit there and say to you, like, you don't deserve to feel like that, or you're a fraud, or whatever, all they're doing is projecting onto you what they are worried about themselves.
Exactly.
So they probably live in fear that someone will think that about them. And there are some very high profile people who've done very well out of being in the military and coming out of that, and you've got to respect anything that anyone has done, but not everyone is in it to get something. But I think some people are, and what's interesting is those people will be the ones who will claim that someone else is lying because they don't feel good themselves.
It's like it felt to me as though I started my little voice that I've got, which I haven't got the biggest show. Yes, I'm trying to get it a bit bigger so more people can understand that it's okay to talk, whether you're talking on absolute tangents like me and yourself have been doing for this entire episode. But that's how I like the show, because like I've said fucking countless times, it's my show. I'll do what the fuck I want.
You fucking want it, mate.
And this is how I like to talk. Is it helps me because I'm having a nice conversation with someone that is reciprocal. I've only had one bad interview, but we'll talk about that off air maybe.
That didn't record.
But it seemed as though because I was doing something good, they had to go and like fucking. I hate this saying. They had to go and poo-poo it.
Yeah, shit on your parade.
I'm going to go with poo-poo it because I'm talking to a posh chick.
Oh, fine, fair one. I think that's totally right. But something that I've learned is that everyone has trauma, and everyone's tolerance and everyone's experience is based on their. So there's a really wise man called Jamie who helped me a lot. He was, I might get this wrong and he'll hate me. I think he was Marines, but I could be wrong. But he has a charity called Rock to Recovery, and he talked to me a lot.
I love Rock to Recovery, by the way.
Right?
I'm actually just cut you off quickly because I want to shout this out. I'm doing. It's now been moved. It was supposed to be the 12th of July, but it's now going to be next year because of all this fucking pandemic. I'm doing a charity football match for Rock to Recovery. The first one of its kind for that. They're not a organisation, so not technically a charity, I believe. But anyway, they're an organisation. I think there's something. They moaned at me because I called them a charity.
Sorry, Foxy, not a charity.
But anyway, yeah. So Rock to Recovery are brilliant. I think they're brilliant. And that's why I chose them. I know they do a lot with the Royal Marines charity, so I'm guessing they're. But anyway, yeah. So I'm doing it. It will be next year now. It will be Granite Zero podcast versus Spurs Legends. Not that you know.
That's cool.
Not that you know, because you don't know.
No, I don't know players, but I know I've heard of that. If that helps.
Yeah. So, well, seeing as you're a TV presenter / what's happened here? We paused. Oh no.
You still there?
Yeah. There we go. You're back.
I'm frozen. Oh.
Now you're back. You're back.
Well, I'm back. You're back.
We're both back. Yeah. So I was like, we'll get you on board, seeing as you're a TV presenter / radio host. We'll have to get you doing the commentary.
Oh my god! You know what? I actually had to do a football show last year. This is how much I know football. When was the World Cup? Was it last year or the year before? I think
year before that.
Year before that.
Yeah, so 2018, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, it was sometime, and the radio show that I was doing was a sports radio show, but we had a lot of so I know more about motorsports despite the fact that I can't drive, but I would do the more fitness and motorsport and rugby. That was my kind of kettle of fish. And then my co-host Rachel, she would do mainly football, but then they decided, because it was the World Cup, that they would take our radio show and make it purely World Cup. So for, again, don't know, however many weeks that England managed to cling on in there, I had to talk for 2 hours a week about the football, and I really bloody struggled because I don't even know any of the names. I'd have to recite stuff and literally be reading it off the screen and just regurgitating. So, and it's really hard because you can't have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because all you have is like.
Well, yeah, it's got to be. If you don't know the subject, it's difficult to have a conversation about it.
Like when I used to do some motorsport stuff on Eurosport, it wasn't live, thank God, but I would always be paired with like how I was always paired with a really strong sergeant because I was me. I would always be paired with a really strong cameraman, and he would always know a lot about motorsport, and he'd be feeding me facts, and I would have done obviously a lot of research. So the first 2 questions would be shit hot. I'd nail it. It would be great. We'd have a really good rapport. And then the driver would say something back, and I'm like, was the car hot? And it's just like, oh God, all credibility gone. That was another tangent.
It's brilliant though. I love a tangent. So
I want to talk about Rock to Recovery. So trauma. So Jamie taught me that basically you have your window of tolerance, and everybody's life experience is based on this catalogue or library of experiences you've had leading up to that point. And everyone's is unique, and you mustn't judge anyone based on that. So, for example, when our cat died, my sister went to absolute pieces. She got a tattoo. In fact, she got a tattoo of a robin, which was slightly unrelated, but it was still linked to the fact that she'd lost Papa and our cat and all these different, she would list the people she'd lost. And so she got this tattoo, and Laura still references how much she misses her boy Oscar and blah blah blah. And there've been times when I'm like, literally, fuck you. I lost the man I loved, and I'm still plodding through life, and I'm not referencing it all the time, although I have just done it quite a few times.
No, that's fine. It's understandable.
But it, to begin with, it really pissed me off. And then I was like, well, actually, what is a big thing to me isn't necessarily a big thing to you.
Yeah,
it might be a small thing to you.
It's hard though, isn't it?
Or like what is a massive deal to my sister, to me, might feel like I can brush it off under the carpet, but that's because of my experiences. But it has taken me a solid
it does because
I didn't figure that out.
I didn't fully know when I started having my struggles. I didn't really know why have I got it and things like that. And I used to think it was strange. So when me and the missus got married, she obviously moved into married quarters with me.
Yeah.
And basically what happened was she uprooted herself from her family, right? And literally we live 8 minutes away from her mum and dad.
Yeah.
Her auntie lives around the corner. Her cousin literally lives on the road opposite as.
Yeah.
Her family is all there. I'm used to being on my own.
Yeah.
I say on my own. I was with my military family, as in my brothers that I served with. But I was very similar to my dad, where I didn't really care where I was because I'm quite happy in my own company.
Yeah.
And my missus started suffering quite a bit with her anxiety and depression quite badly. Like she started smoking again when she moved to Suffolk with me. And I could just see the difference, and she started taking these tablets and things like that. And I was always like, what have you got to be depressed about?
Yeah.
I never thought, it's because until I took the decision to leave the military to be family dad. I was like, why you've got everything you need. I've got a secure job. We've been given a house that we only have to pay £280 a month for.
Winner.
Yeah. A 3-bedroom house, like paid for. So basically we could, this is on the patch. So we could, in theory, have bought our own place, lived in the married quarters and rented that one out.
Yeah.
In theory. We never did, and I was like, yeah, thinking about it now when I'm an actual adult, I'm like, well, we probably should have done that. But
probably should have, yeah.
But
probably strictly not allowed, but
but yeah, I was always like, why are you so depressed? But now I think about it and I go, I literally took you away from your comfort. When I went to Bastion on my last tour, which was basically a 7-month tour, I had R&R a month into the tour, which was cheers for that. Do you know why they did it? Do you know what? I specifically asked, I went, can I have it in the middle, please? So that
everyone wants it in the middle.
Yeah, I know. I was like, come on, I'm the Uber comms geek. I want it in the middle. I'm the most important guy in my head. And then I got Tommo, mate. Yeah. We got your R&R dates, mate. We did you a solid. I was like, fucking brilliant. Have I got it in the middle? No. You've got it in December, so you can have Christmas at home. I was like, I don't want Christmas at home because it's going to make it worse.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't even give me fucking Christmas, right? I went home on the 9th of December.
Hang on, did the RAF fuck up your flights?
No. I got my flights perfect, sure. 9th of December. You only get 10 days, don't you?
Oh, mate. That's...
So not only did I miss Christmas, if they'd have just given me the week earlier, I would have been home for the missus' birthday, which would have been all right.
Yeah, but no, if they'd given you a week earlier, you'd have been in theatre for 3 weeks.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Like, hey, you wouldn't have got a suntan. There's no point going home.
I basically did 6 months solid.
I mean, that is pretty shit for anyone's mental
And then
health.
I dealt with every single major incident that happened on 15 Squadron during that tour.
Yeah.
Every single fucking one.
You'll hear everything going. What was it? Is it Op Lockdown? What is it?
Op Lockdown, yeah.
when someone dies.
Yeah, or gets severely injured.
Yeah. So that no one can call home or whatever and
brilliant.
accidentally break the news before their mum knows. I mean, that's a fucking tough job. Like, if you're hearing everything that's going down,
it's a difficult one, because not only did I have Robbo that lost his legs, another mate of mine that I served, he didn't come on CAF. Can't remember why, but anyway, he was on the sniper section. I was quite chummy with him. He got shot in the I don't know if it was a full impact or if it was a ricochet, but he got shot in the stomach. I had to deal with that one. That was before Robbo. Yeah, Rob. They're both obviously everybody's close, but it's one of those ones where you want to help more than you can. Like, all I can do is get the 9-liner in quick so that the air desk can get the MERT in. It's just shit, really. But yeah. So, what made you go into like TV and radio and beauty and all that makeup-y stuff?
My life choices have been an absolute shit show. So when I went to university, I chose history because I fancied my teacher. Thank you, Mr. Knight. Joined the army because I wanted to go skiing, and then moved into what I do now pretty much because I just wanted, at that point, I wanted to get as far away from the military as possible, which was, in hindsight, possibly not a great move, because I've been around, that was my comfort zone. And when I went, nah, not doing this, don't want to see it, can't deal with green kit, like, fuck off. I cut off all my ties to what had been my family and the kind of chat and banter you can have, and like just someone who gets it. Like, it's a different mentality, and I guess it's probably similar to sports people when they stop playing. Suddenly you've lost that, and you've lost the drive, and it was so regimented, and I knew what I was doing at every moment of the day. Anyway, I decided I didn't want that. And I was very lucky in my sort of transition. I worked with Buckingham Palace press office to help organise / I literally shadowed. I did nothing. Queen to Exeter with Prince Philip, which was fucking incredible. And I mean, for some real unknown reason, we were taking her to the Wrigley's factory, and
just to get some chewing gum and that.
Honestly, they presented her, I shit you not, a box like yay sized of chewing gum, and she said, "Thank you." I was like, not sure she's ever chewed gum in her life, but okay, yeah, cool. And then through that, I just started doing a lot of PR work with Burberry, Dior, realised I fucking hated PR, wanted to do journalism instead. So wrote for Marie Claire for 3 years. And then when everything started going digital, I started my blog, got a job presenting a news, like fashion, entertainment show. And then, yeah, just kind of like, I've never had a plan. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Oh, I'll do this. Oh, I'm kind of bored of that. I'll try something new. So, yeah,
that's a typical squaddy sort of thing as well, by the way. I found, right?
Well, just
not quite as high profile as yourself, but when I left, I lost that sense of, well, I lost me. I didn't know who I was anymore, which is mainly my struggle. But I would go from job to job to job to job. At the minute, I'm semi-settled. I'm sort of looking into other avenues now.
You're like, why is this so easy? Like,
I always get to the point where I'm like, I always get to the point where I'm like, this is too easy now, and now I'm bored.
It's like, have you seen this great meme, and it's like, oh, what could possibly go wrong today? And it's like, hi, anxiety. Like, it's like, as soon as you're in a good place, it's like your brain starts going, how can I possibly make this really bad for her? Yeah. So like she's miserable for a little bit, because that's so much fun. Like, yeah.
It's the best.
It's
the best when you get that little niggle in your fucking head, and it's like, hey, guess what? And you're like, what, mate? And he's like, yeah, piece of shit.
Yeah, and you're like,
hey. mine tends to happen. I used to set an alarm for my pills. I'm on antidepressants and what have you. I used to set an alarm because I'm shit at remembering to take my pills.
Oh, I very rarely take. Yeah.
And when I don't take them for a couple of days, he starts to like, little Tommo's like pops up and goes, "Hey, do you remember me?" He's like, "Fuck off. I'm happy at the minute." It's usually when I start feeling.
And that's it, because you think you're happy, and so
Yeah,
you're like, I'm totally
that's
fine.
my
I don't
thing.
need to do anything healthy.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's just a slow little descent. And then
Yeah.
you, and the thing is, I've never really spoken that much about taking antidepressants, but I have and I do. And I tend to find I'll get really arrogant about it, and I'll be like, I don't fucking need these. I'm totally fine. So I stop taking them. And then everyone assumes that when you get diagnosed with something like depression, anxiety, PTSD, whatever, they assume, oh, she's so sad. Oh, shame. And
Yes.
so, and they think that you get to this point and you're like crying. And I'm like, I fucking wish I could feel an emotion. Like you just feel totally numb. And it's like you wake up in the morning and you're like, what's the fucking point?
Like, I like to call it the meh.
It is. It's so the Met, and it's like total apathy. You can't be asked to do anything. You lose your appetite, or you gain too much appetite, but you're not getting enjoyment out of it. And so then your brain starts clicking in, looking for like destructive little avenues to distract what is basically your thoughts.
Yeah. I went through a stage, and I don't think this might be an exclusive on here. Actually, I think I've spoke about this before, but fuck it, might as well. That's why I did the show. I went through the stage of thinking that the pills that I was taking weren't doing anything. I was like, they're not working. I'm going to try other ones. And like a fucking absolute moron head, I got some off the internet.
Oh no, mate.
Yeah, because I'm part ape, so. When the ape brain pops in, it's like, that's a good idea. And then depression brain's like, it's definitely a good idea.
Roger.
And then you get those other new thoughts that pop in, and you're like, can these ones not pop in because I've got kids at home and I kind of like them?
Yeah.
And I was like,
I kind of like them. They're all right, you know?
Yeah, I kind of like them. They're all right at the minute. And it's one of those ones that I'm trying to make light of it because that's my mechanism. But I was getting to that point where it was like, well, everybody would be clearly better off without me. What is the point? And the missus found out because she noticed that the credit card bill was quite high, and she was like, why are we spending this much? Show me what you're buying. And I was like, I'm not showing you what I'm buying. Obviously her mind went to the fucking opposite end and thought I was like, I don't know, buying hookers or something.
Buying hookers?
Yeah, just buying them. But obviously I wasn't. Just to clear that up, listeners. What I was doing was I was getting these pills on the internet, and they were a bit more expensive than they should be because I'm a fucking idiot.
NHS prescription.
Yeah. I had my prescription.
Yeah.
But I was like, they're not working. So absolute. To be fair, it's one of those cop-out sort of things. I don't know why I did that, but anyway, I went out. I think
probably a lot more people, though, than we'd care to admit, have had those exact same thoughts, and possibly an awful lot of people won't even admit it to themselves.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I do the show, because I'm not afraid to air when I've got these sort of feelings. This is a while back. I mentioned that I had a bit of a stage where I was down. I never mentioned why, but anyway, what I did was I loaded my Bergen up, which I stole from my mate Chris. You're not getting it back. I loaded that up, and I literally put my weighted vest on, put my Bergen on, and I went on a tab. And my dad phoned me, my mum phoned me, and then I was like, I need a bit of help here. And they were like, all right, we'll sort you out. And then the missus phoned me, not annoyingly, That wasn't annoying. Her phoning me was brilliant because I opened up and told her exactly what happened. What was annoying was I had 2% battery and then my phone went boo.
Oh, mate.
So I literally just opened up to her about how I had these horrible dark feelings in my head.
Yeah.
And she was like, so you thought about taking your own lot? And I was like, yeah. I don't even like saying it because it fucking makes me feel shit. I was like, yeah.
It's fucking strong for actually saying it. So.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I was thinking about it. And then it was literally 2 seconds later, my phone died. I'm out. I live in the middle of nowhere, basically, on a tab. My phone's died. She's still trying to ring me. Yeah.
I mean,
that was a fun conversation when I got home.
Was she angry or sad, or like did it go?
It was a mixture. It was a bit of a mixture. Yeah, it was. I'm fucking angry with you because your phone died, and you just told me this. It's like, oh, sorry.
I mean, that's quite a uniquely shit.
Yeah, you couldn't have wrote that in a movie, especially in these times as well.
These unprecedented transitioning times.
Yes, exactly.
Oh no, I think there's a lot more people than would care to admit that have those sorts of thoughts, and it's why it is so important to talk about it. But it's still a hard thing to talk about, and it's still you broach it, and you can't quite sometimes put it into words because you don't want to sound like it's a sob story.
Yes, you don't want to sound like it's a sob story, and you also don't. It might be me, it might be everybody. I don't know. You feel sort of embarrassed and a little bit weak if you've got it.
It's hugely weak. You feel like it's the biggest fucking.
When I first got diagnosed with it, I was like, "Fuck off."
Yeah.
Not me. I'm dead inside.
You think that, oh, I'm so strong. I've done this, this, and this. I've carried this person through that. I've always been that. Like I've done all of this, and you start trying to justify, and you're like, I cannot possibly be suffering from a mental health.
Exactly.
Whatever word you want to give it, because there's so much of a taboo that you think
it's crazy that it still is.
Yeah, it is really bad. But I mean, I'm really hoping that things are changing, and if social media is to be believed, then it is changing and people are getting behind movements like this. But then you do question whether people are secretly in the back of their minds going, yeah, but you fucking weak little.
That's the thing. Like,
that's the fear.
I think that is the fear that drives it all as well. That whole stigma behind it. It's like, it doesn't. It's like I quote one of your pictures that you got. This is how good my memory is, by the way. You've got a strong, not silent picture.
Yes.
That's one of the gyms, isn't it, in London? I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
That is a big thing because it is strong to talk about it. It's not weak.
It's way stronger to talk about it.
Yes.
But the misconception and from the society that we all grew up in is the concept that strength comes in silence. So it's the strong man leading his family.
I can like sort of relate to. Yeah, definitely. I can relate to a. So I'm watching. This is one of those comedy sort of shows. I watch F is for Family. I don't know if you've seen it on Netflix. Bill Burr.
Netflix. Okay, I'll watch.
It's a like a cartoon. Basically, it's based on Bill Burr's life growing up with his dad, and I think personally, I think it's fucking hilarious. By the way, other people might not, but there's.
Can I just full disclosure?
He's talking to his son in it, and he's like, "Fucking hell, Bill, you got to keep those things inside. Lock it down. You can't talk about it. Lock it down." And this is it's set in the 70s, and it's like that's definitely how it would be.
Yeah.
Like,
and that is now everybody's dialogue.
I've got a brilliant example for this, and I still am a bit bemused by it. So, I never met my granddad. My granddad Bill, he this is a strange one. He died 2 years before I was born on my birthday. So I'm basically a reincarnation, if you believe in that.
Thank you.
So he was the first Thompson to serve in the Air Force. So there's 3 of us that have done it. Hopefully one of my kids do it. I'm trying to push it, but it's not happening.
To start like floating planes or like.
Yeah, I know. I keep telling them that they'd be really good helicopter pilots because they're all both really smart.
So there's really good odds for girls in the military.
Yeah.
If you're allowed to say that. It's very boy heavy.
Yeah. So he got a British Empire Medal, which I don't think is it isn't in service now, but it was back then. And it
wasn't everyone who got that.
No, I was looking into it, and it's basically an act of valor medal, a bit like the Military Cross and Victoria Cross and things like that. And he got it when they were in Burma, I believe. And from what I sort of got out of my dad was he was under fire and he managed to get a helicopter working or something while they were being shot at, and it saved a load of lives. However, no Thompson knows exactly what happened because he wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
And there's he's one of those guys that has the chest full of medals. And it's like, how did you get all that? I would have asked. I would have been like, Grandad, how'd you get that? I would have been picking at him.
And that probably would have been far enough removed, but from his own son was probably too.
Well, from what I gather from my dad, my granddad was one of those that was like, women need to be in the kitchen sort of thing. Very, very chauvinistic. He was Northern Irish.
That is a generational thing, though.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And my dad wanted to prove himself to my granddad, so that's why he joined the Air Force, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just a bit of a shame. So I've literally just had his medals done. Nobody. They were in a frame. Don't get me wrong, but they were all floppy, and that fucking winds me up.
What are they, like the small ones or the little miniatures?
No. My nan has the miniatures.
Yeah.
They're in a cabinet somewhere. My dad is actually having those. We've had this discussion.
Right, fair.
I was like, Dad, you can have the miniatures because they'll look good. You can have them. I went, I want the proper medals.
But you will have them after him.
Yeah. Which annoyed my brother. My brother, who's older than me, he was like, well, I should have them. I'm the firstborn. I went, yeah, but you didn't serve. You don't get them.
Hey, that trumps everything.
It does. So I was like, Dad, I want his medals. And I went, but I'm not having them all floppy and shit.
Fair.
And I was like, I will get them mounted. I will get them polished properly. And then you can have them back until you want to give them back to me, basically. And then my dad was like, this fucking cracks me up still. Sorry, this is a bit of like banter between me and my dad. So my dad went, you can do my medals. I was like, your medals? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, I want them mounted and polished. I was like, okay. I went, you've got chocolate medals, Dad. And he's like, what? What do you bloody mean? I went, well, you've got 2 long service medals, one from the Air Force, one from the prison service, and you got 2 Jubilee medals. They don't count. I was just going to
say, doesn't have the Jubilee.
They don't count. When you can keep those 4 medals, I will top trump them with my Iraq and Afghan medals. Campaign ones.
But that went down like a fucking shit on a shovel.
Wow. It's a bit of banter between me and my godfather was another PJI like my dad. He took commission as well he got to warrant officer and then took commission.
Took commission?
Yeah.
Oh, he fucking sent off for it in his shreddies.
His commission, yeah, he took commission.
How'd you take commission? Does you don't?
He got offered it. He went, "Do you fancy taking commission?" And he was like, "Yeah, what?"
You do not get that in the army.
Well, in the Air Force, you do. Clearly, better.
Right now, mate. Here, have a commission.
Just have it. Anyway, he was at my wedding, and he went, "Oh, I should have worn my medals." And I looked at, bearing in mind we're full of regiment lads who were we're all shunned by the fucking Air Force. We're not Air Force because we're infantry. We're not
I
army.
thought you guys were like the higher ranks of, or like the elite RAF.
Yeah, we are. So
Right,
the Air
so
Force don't like us. Yeah, so the Air Force don't like us because we are infantry soldiers.
Yeah.
The Army don't like us because we're Air Force. The Navy don't like us because they're the Navy.
Yeah, but have you ever tried telling a Marine that they're in the Navy? Because that is fun. That is my
that's
favorite.
the same. It's like this will annoy some of the Marines if they're listening. So the RAF regiment are basically the Air Force's version of the Marines. Oh, controversial.
Oh, that is controversial. Okay,
But
I'll take it.
we are also part of the big. This is going to make some people laugh if they're listening. We're also part of the big three, which is the Paras, Marines, and the RAF regiment are the only ones that give to Special Forces Support Group. Boom.
I have no words.
My godfather was like, I should have worn my medals. And I was like, well,
should you?
My section commander over there has got a chest full of actual medals, so you can go and talk to him if you want.
Oh, actual medals. I really enjoy that actual word.
I was I want to go like this. I want to go. I've got a chocolate one here.
Oh, cute.
That's my
What is
ISAF
that,
medal.
GP?
This is the ISAF medal.
Oh, that's a bit like everyone that got the Optosca medal.
Yeah, basically, we literally had to stand on parade, and they went, "Here's your ISAF medal." We were like, "Oh, can we wear this?" No. Okay.
Oh, all the rules and regs.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
But I do have the actual ones just here.
Aww.
There's my doubles. They live in the shed here.
Yeah.
Granddads were up there, but they're upstairs now, all ship-shape and shiny.
I would vote for that away from the spiders and the creepy crawlies.
They haven't come out to say hello yet.
Listen, mate, I'm going to go because I have not eaten and I've drunk quite a lot of tequila.
That's no problem, mate.
Before I say anything worse, this has been divine.
This has been a brilliant one. This has been the most
you know what?
tangible podcast I've done.
If this ends up a non-record, I mean, it might be a good thing. Please save it. I'll be very sad if you don't save it.
Oh, it will be saved and it will be uploaded as soon as I can. And I've not had as much whiskey in my system.
Exactly.
But Liv, you're more than welcome anytime you want to come on and have a tangible. Fucking my brain is gone.
Like there is a word that you're searching for, but I haven't got a fucking clue.
Right. If you want to go on some random tangents, there we go.
I love a good tangent. Yeah, I'll
more than
tangent
welcome. Anytime.
All right, perfect. We'll do it again.
Definitely.
And thank you for bearing with my zooming over Skype.
This could be the future.
I mean, I think it fucking is, but well done you for acknowledging that.
It already is. Cheers for coming on.
All right, mate. Well, lovely to speak to you and enjoy that whiskey. Go get a top up because you looked a bit low on the
run
old
out.
levels. Well, yeah. And I'll see you soon.
See you soon, dude.
Bye.